If we're only looking for a mere reflection of ourselves, some modern researchers whose work has been buried or suppressed, I think we're getting very close to rediscovering some of the things that our ancient ancestors were up to. There are people who've been working on these things for decades now, basically in secret.
Randall Carlson's ideas about sacred geometry in relation to ancient megalithic structures are truly interesting. He delves deep into the idea that ancient civilizations had a profound understanding of geometric principles and deliberately incorporated these into their monuments. It's a mix of mathematics and archaeology. Let's start with the basics of sacred geometry. This concept revolves around using key geometric shapes like circles, squares, triangles, and hexagons believed to have mystical significance. Think about a circle representing unity or infinity, and a square symbolizing stability. It's about finding deeper meaning in these fundamental shapes.
In the golden section, or the divine proportion, we're looking for that one magic point where the ratio of the small section is to the large section exactly as the large section is to the whole line.
Then there's the golden ratio, phi. This specific ratio pops up everywhere in nature and art, and it's almost like a mathematical fingerprint of the universe. Carlson points out that many megalithic structures seem to follow this golden ratio in their design, which is pretty mind-blowing if you think about it. And we can't forget the Fibonacci sequence, that series where each number is the sum of the two before it. This sequence is found in the natural world, like in the spirals of seashells and even galaxies. Carlson suggests that this pattern of growth and expansion is reflected in the design of ancient structures. Fractals are another piece of the puzzle. These are patterns that repeat at different scales and are found in natural phenomena like coastlines and trees. The idea that ancient builders used fractals in their structures implies a deep understanding of the universe's interconnectedness.
When you actually have that mindset that you're creating something that is unique and something that resonates with higher principles.
Carlson also talks about mandalas and labyrinths. Mandalas, with their intricate geometric patterns, are used in Hinduism and Buddhism to represent the cosmos. Labyrinths have been used in various cultures for spiritual and meditative purposes. According to Carlson, places like the Nazca lines in Peru might have mandala-like designs intended for ritual use. Then there's the significance of sacred numbers, like 3, 7, and 12, which have symbolic meanings in many traditions. He argues that these numbers were intentionally used in the construction of megalithic sites, reflecting the spiritual beliefs of those who built them. One of the most intriguing aspects of sacred geometry is the alignment with celestial bodies and events. Carlson contends that these ancient structures were not just randomly placed, they were aligned with astronomical phenomena like solstices, equinoxes, and the movements of stars and planets, forming a kind of cosmic geometry.
Geometry was so intrinsic to many systems, both spiritual systems and meditation systems, as well as art and architecture and things like that.
Randall Carlson's theories about how ancient civilizations went about quarrying and transporting massive stones are pretty intriguing. He delves into a range of methods that really make you appreciate the ingenuity of these ancient builders. Let's chat about some of these techniques. First off, Carlson talks about the use of stone hammers and chisels. Imagine ancient craftsmen shaping and extracting stones from quarries using tools made from hard stones like granite or diorite. It's a labor-intensive process, but it shows a deep understanding of the materials they were working with. Then there's the whole idea of splitting large stones from bedrock using wedges. Wooden wedges might have been driven into cracks in the rock and then soaked with water. As the wood swelled, it would have exerted force on the rock, causing it to split. It's quite clever when you think about it, using nature's own properties to get the job done. Drilling techniques are another fascinating part of Carlson's theories. He suggests that ancient builders might have used tubular drills with abrasive sand and water to bore holes in tough stones like granite. The level of precision this would require is just astounding. When it comes to extracting bigger blocks, Carlson proposes methods like cave mining or creating underground chambers within the quarry rock. This way, large stone blocks could be accessed and removed while still intact.
They're lifting these blocks. Again and again it appears in ancient Egyptian traditions. The notion that we could lift huge blocks with sound seems absurd to archaeologists, and yet it's there in the traditions of the Egyptologists.
Transporting these massive stones is another hurdle altogether. Carlson suggests wooden sledges as one of the methods. These sledges would help distribute the stone's weight over a larger area, making it easier to move. And imagine using water or wet sand as a lubricant beneath these sledges. It would create a slippery surface, allowing for easier movement of these huge stones. Then there are the cylindrical wooden rollers. By placing these under the stone, builders could roll the stone forward incrementally. It would have been a continuous process, needing a steady supply of rollers. Carlson even touches on the possibility of counterweight systems being used to lift and move these stones vertically. Think about using sandbags or other stones as counterweights on one side of a fulcrum to lift the stone onto sledges or platforms. And, of course, there's the topic of ramps. The idea of building spiral or zigzagging ramps to move stones to higher levels at construction sites is another debated method. It would have allowed a gradual elevation of these massive stones to where they were needed. It's fascinating to consider all these methods. They certainly paint a picture of ancient civilizations being far more advanced and innovative in their construction techniques than we often give them credit for.
Resonance frequencies. Everything vibrates. Everything vibrates at a frequency, and if you know that frequency, you can control things. And it's all based upon the ancient numbers.
Now, Randall Carlson's take on the precision cutting and stone joinery in ancient megalithic structures is really something to marvel at. He really drives home just how skilled these ancient builders must have been. Let's talk about some of the details he highlights. Take the Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance. Carlson often points out the incredible precision in its construction. The outer casing stones, made of Tura limestone, were fitted together with such accuracy that the joints between them were only a few millimeters wide. Imagine how smooth and shiny that surface would have been, gleaming in the sunlight. It's a testament to the incredible craftsmanship of the builders. Now, achieving this kind of precision in cutting stones is no small feat, especially considering the tools available at the time. Carlson suggests that the ancient builders likely used copper chisels for the initial grooves and diorite pounding stones for the finer finishing. This combination allowed for the precise shaping of the stones. And then there's the grinding technique, using abrasive materials like sand and water with these tools to achieve the smoothness and precision of those cut surfaces. It's like ancient craftsmanship meeting an almost modern engineering precision. Of course, some alternative theorists, including Carlson, speculate about more advanced or lost technologies like focused sunlight or sound vibrations. But these ideas are pretty controversial and not widely accepted in mainstream archaeology. When it comes to stone joinery, Carlson highlights techniques like dovetailing, seen in the construction of megalithic walls. This technique, where wedge-shaped projections and grooves are carved into stone blocks, creates a stable and secure connection. It's seen in ancient Inca architecture and showcases advanced masonry skills. Then there's the use of interlocking blocks. In some structures, the stones are designed to interlock with neighboring ones, ensuring stability and integrity. This kind of precision in stone cutting and shaping is crucial for achieving seamless connections. Carlson also talks about dry stone construction, like what you see in Machu Picchu. This method assembles stones without mortar or cement, relying instead on careful selection and placement of stones. It's a clear indicator of the craftsmanship and planning that went into these ancient structures. And let's not forget about the complex masonry patterns. The intricate patterns, like herringbone or alternating stone courses, not only add structural stability but also aesthetic beauty to these megalithic constructions.
My contention is what we're really seeing 7, 8, 9,000 years ago is not the origins of civilization, but the rebooting of civilization.
Moving on again, Randall Carlson's theory about civilizations existing during the last ice age is something straight out of a fascinating blend of archaeology and mythology. It's pretty interesting how he steps away from mainstream archaeological thought. He suggests that back in the Pleistocene epoch, which wrapped up around 11,700 years ago, there were advanced civilizations. It's intriguing because he believes these societies were more than just surviving the harsh ice age. They were actually thriving and developing complex technologies and knowledge systems. Carlson's idea that these ancient civilizations had advanced architectural, astronomical, and mathematical knowledge really makes you think. It's like he's saying they were capable of constructing intricate structures and had a deep understanding of celestial movements, something we usually don't attribute to societies from that time. When it comes to evidence, he points to the megalithic structures scattered across the globe. Think about the pyramids of Egypt, Stonehenge in England, or the megalithic temples of Malta. According to him, the sheer scale, precision, and architectural complexity of these structures hint at a level of skill and knowledge that wouldn't have been possible without some advanced understanding. Carlson also believes that fragments of knowledge from these Ice Age civilizations have been passed down symbolically through myths, legends, and even architectural practices. It's a fascinating idea that these stories we've grown up with might actually contain hidden truths about sophisticated societies lost to history.
You're talking about a very energetic intertidal zone. And anything that's there, short of large megalithic blocks, is going to be utterly obliterated by the time the process is through.
Randall Carlson really has a way of bringing a whole new perspective to how we look at ancient megalithic structures. He dives into how the ancient builders incorporated geometric precision and carefully selected specific stone types, suggesting they had a pretty advanced understanding of geometry and geology. It's pretty fascinating stuff, and it's not just about geometry on the ground. Carlson points out that these structures often align with astronomical events like solstices and equinoxes. Take Stonehenge or the Great Pyramids, for example. Their orientation with celestial bodies suggests that the builders of these megaliths had a deep connection with the cosmos. It's like they were linking heaven and earth through their constructions. Then there's the whole aspect of selecting different types of stones. It wasn't just about what was available, it was about understanding the properties of each stone. For the parts of structures that needed to bear more weight, they'd choose something dense and durable like granite. But for parts that were more decorative or didn't need to support as much weight, they might use softer stones like limestone or sandstone. It shows they had a good grasp of geology and were thoughtful about the longevity and durability of their creations. The aesthetic aspect was also key. The ancient builders considered the color, texture, and patterns of the stones. The way different types of stones contrasted with each other could really enhance the visual and artistic appeal of these structures. In essence, Carlson's theories paint a picture of ancient builders as not just skilled laborers, but as sophisticated architects and engineers. They were creating these incredible structures with a deep understanding of geometry, astronomy, and geology. And they were doing it with an eye for beauty as well. It's a perspective that adds a whole new layer of awe to these ancient wonders.
In the boxes in places like the Serapium, which is probably my favorite site, because there's literally miles of tunnels beneath Saqqara. So it's like a giant underground necropolis. Inside the Serapium, you have 25 of these things, which are these single piece, like 100-ton granite boxes. They're insane. It's absolutely insane. And this one in particular is in an off-limits area that we went into that's rarely seen by tourists. We couldn't make the box without developing specific tools to do it, because the way they'd make it is they'd cut like 5 slabs and then bolt them together, you know, like a floor and then 4 walls, and they'd bolt it together into a box. These are single pieces. So what's impressive about that is it's like you have to quarry this one block of stone and then dig it out. You have to dig all of the inside out, and some of the examples of precision in the Serapium are absolutely remarkable. You have perfect 90-degree corners in some of the boxes, perfect 90-degree interfaces with the lids, and some of these walls maintain that geometry from like being 11 feet apart. Like, that's insane. Like, that's one of the major challenges of this is in designing and maintaining that type of relative geometry in a space where you can't afford to make any mistakes.
The Serapium of Saqqara, nestled near Cairo, holds one of ancient Egypt's most puzzling enigmas. Enormous granite boxes, often considered to be sarcophagi. These immense boxes, carved from single blocks of granite with an astonishing level of precision, continue to baffle archaeologists, engineers, and historians. How did the ancient Egyptians craft these structures with such detail and accuracy, sparking ongoing debates about their origins? These boxes are far from ordinary stone coffins. Each is crafted from a single block of granite, known for its extreme hardness and difficulty to work with. Some of these boxes, complete with their lids, weigh as much as 70 tons, while the raw blocks they were carved from likely weighed over 200 tons. What's truly remarkable is the precision of the craftsmanship. The corners are perfectly squared, and the surfaces are so smooth they seem to rival modern machinery in accuracy. Achieving this level of exactness, especially millennia ago, raises the question: did the ancient Egyptians possess technology beyond what we've ever imagined? The interior of these boxes is equally awe-inspiring. While the smooth exteriors are impressive enough, the flawless precision on the inside seems even more impossible. How did they hollow out these massive granite blocks with such accuracy, given the tools thought to be available at the time? Copper tools, often credited to the Egyptians, would have been insufficient for the task, and the uniform thickness of the walls suggests the use of sophisticated measurement techniques far ahead of their time. Such uniformity in these boxes is unparalleled in other Egyptian artifacts, leading to more questions. Hollowing out these granite blocks would have required not just immense labor, but an advanced understanding of stone-cutting techniques that we still don't fully comprehend. Conventional explanations, primarily focusing on copper tools, fall short when compared to the remarkable precision of these boxes. How then did the Egyptians achieve this level of perfection? Some theories propose that the builders had access to lost technology, perhaps advanced tools or machinery, now forgotten in the annals of history. Researchers speculate about high-speed drills, diamond-tipped saws, or other sophisticated equipment. The notion of advanced technology in ancient Egypt is controversial, yet the evidence presented by these granite boxes continues to fuel this debate. Adding to the mystery is the question of purpose. While traditionally believed to be sarcophagi for the sacred Apis bulls, the excessive craftsmanship for mere burials raises doubts. Could these boxes have served a more complex function, perhaps related to energy manipulation or another unknown scientific process? This question remains unanswered and continues to intrigue modern researchers. Even transporting these massive boxes presents an engineering challenge. The narrow and winding underground tunnels of the Serapium would have made moving the 70-ton boxes an extraordinary feat, requiring advanced knowledge of engineering or transportation. Additionally, there are no visible signs of torches or burn marks in the tunnels. How did they light these spaces while moving such colossal objects? Despite the many mysteries, mainstream archaeologists attribute the precision and craftsmanship of the Serapium boxes to the skill and patience of ancient Egyptian stoneworkers. They argue that, over generations, the Egyptians perfected their techniques, achieving incredible accuracy through dedication rather than technology. Critics of the advanced technology theory maintain that there is no concrete evidence supporting the existence of machines or sophisticated tools during the time these boxes were created. Yet, as more of these boxes are discovered throughout Egypt, the questions multiply. Across the country, similar examples of giant granite boxes exist, each demonstrating the same level of craftsmanship and precision. This suggests the possibility of a forgotten technology, one far beyond what is traditionally accepted in the study of ancient Egypt. One example, found in the Cairo Museum, displays an irregular slanted cut that was likely abandoned due to an error in the process. But this mistake tells more than expected. It reveals the possibility of a highly advanced cutting method. The cut extends deep into the granite, an impossible feat with traditional copper chisels or saws. The precision hints at the use of circular saws or similar tools capable of cutting through granite with speed and accuracy. Traditional theories suggest that the Egyptians used slow copper-based saws to cut granite. However, modern attempts to replicate this technique resulted in an excruciatingly slow cutting rate of only 4 millimeters per hour. At such a pace, it's implausible that ancient artisans wouldn't have corrected the significant deviation seen in the error. The precision of the cut suggests the use of advanced machinery far beyond what is typically attributed to ancient Egypt. Similar saw marks have been observed on other granite boxes, some of which are also displayed at the Cairo Museum. These marks resemble those made by modern band saws, but appear to indicate an even higher operational speed. Contemporary granite cutting saws rely on diamond-encrusted blades, technology believed to be far out of reach for the ancient Egyptians. Yet the marks persist, challenging our understanding of the tools available in that era. Adding to the intrigue are the perfectly round tube drill holes found in various granite artifacts throughout Egypt. The depth and uniformity of these holes suggest the use of advanced drills, possibly equipped with diamond-tipped tools. One of the most striking examples is Core 7, a cylindrical piece of granite discovered near the Great Pyramids. The continuous spiral groove on Core 7 resembles the groove of a vinyl record. In fact, modern machinery that could produce such a result would require high-speed rotation and diamond-tipped tools, technologies not associated with ancient Egypt. Core 7's spiral grooves suggest a force and precision greater than modern power drills, raising the question of whether the Egyptians, or a lost civilization, had access to technology now lost to history. Across Egypt, the evidence of these granite boxes continues to challenge mainstream views. Could these artifacts have been created by a lost civilization with advanced technology? Or are we simply missing a piece of the puzzle regarding how the Egyptians worked with stone? The precision, craftsmanship, and technology evident in these objects suggest that they were made with methods we don't yet understand. The most extraordinary example of precision stonework may be the granite box discovered beneath the pyramid at Lahun. Within a polished granite chamber lies a tilted box with 4 corners so perfectly aligned that modern measurement tools reveal almost no discrepancy. Another similar box was found at Mastaba 17, buried beneath a pile of mud bricks. Both examples display precision that raises questions about their origin and purpose. Could these boxes have been repurposed by the Egyptians, who may have inherited them from a lost civilization? The mystery of these granite boxes remains unsolved. Could they represent the remnants of a prehistoric civilization with knowledge far beyond our current understanding? Perhaps this explains why these objects were later used by the Egyptians for seemingly simple purposes like sarcophagi, because they, like us today, did not fully understand their true purpose.
I think it was a civilization that emerged from shamanism, but did not stay at the hunter-gatherer stage. A lot of archaeologists have said to me, but we don't find any plastic bottles from the Ice Age. That means there was no advanced civilization during the Ice Age. Well, hang on. Maybe an advanced civilization might have decided never to get involved in plastic in the first place.
In the intriguing world of ancient mysteries, Graham Hancock's global pyramid connection theory stands out with its bold and controversial propositions. He suggests an intriguing link between the pyramids and megalithic structures scattered across the globe, from the imposing pyramids of Egypt to the intricate stoneworks of the Mayans and Aztecs in Central and South America, and even extending to the lesser-known pyramids in China's Shaanxi province and the enigmatic Gunung Padang in Indonesia. Hancock sees a common thread. He theorizes that either a singular advanced civilization was behind these architectural marvels, or that there was a widespread sharing of knowledge that influenced their construction. The cultural significance of these structures is as varied as their geographical locations. Each civilization, with its unique beliefs and traditions, revered these structures for different reasons. Yet the ubiquity of pyramids as a form of monumental architecture is a fascinating aspect that Hancock highlights. The construction timelines of these structures are equally diverse, spanning from the early dynastic period of Egypt around 2700 BCE to the classical period of the Mesoamerican civilizations, which lasted until around 900 CE.
They cultivated powers of the human mind that we dismiss and regard as completely unimportant.
Hancock is particularly interested in the engineering techniques used in these structures. The precision in construction is nothing short of remarkable. The Great Pyramid, for instance, is a testament to this precision, with its perfectly aligned stones and joints.
often put together without any mortar. This level of accuracy in the stonework, especially considering the era in which these structures were built, is a feat that continues to baffle many. Furthermore, the massive stone blocks used in these constructions, some weighing several tons, indicate a level of architectural knowledge and capability that seems far ahead of its time. What is truly intriguing is the architectural complexity of these structures. Constructed in an era without the technological advancements of the modern world, these pyramids and megaliths raise questions about the level of knowledge and capabilities of ancient builders. Were they simply extraordinarily skilled? Or was there an external influence, perhaps from a now-lost advanced civilization? Now, delving into the idea of an advanced ancient civilization, a concept that veers sharply from the path trodden by mainstream academics. His theory paints a picture of a civilization existing more than 10,000 years ago that was leaps and bounds ahead of its time in fields like astronomy, engineering, and mathematics. This civilization, as Hancock proposes, predates the earliest known societies like Sumer and ancient Egypt, which conventional history places at around 6,000 years ago. At the heart of the theory is the awe-inspiring astronomical precision of ancient structures. Take, for instance, the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's not just a monumental tomb, it's a testament to astronomical alignment, with its sides precisely mirroring the cardinal points. Then there's the Pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza, known as El Castillo, where during the equinoxes, an interplay of light and shadow conjures the image of a serpent descending its steps, a marvel of ancient engineering and understanding of celestial events. Perhaps one of the most fascinating aspects of the theory is the Orion correlation theory, which he developed alongside Robert Bauval. They propose that the layout of the three pyramids of Giza correlates with the three stars of Orion's belt. This isn't just a coincidental alignment. According to Hancock, it's a deliberate mirror of the heavens, indicative of an advanced astronomical understanding.
The signs of civilization that we see emerging are not the beginnings of civilization, they're a restarting.
But where did this knowledge come from? Some point to megalithic sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, dating back to around 10,000 BC. These sites are not just ancient, they are complex and aligned with celestial bodies, suggesting an understanding of astronomy and mathematics far beyond what we would expect from that era. He doesn't stop there. He even brings ancient maps into the equation, like the Piri Reis map, which he believes displays a geographical understanding that seems too advanced for its time. Of course, every great civilization has its downfall, and his theory is no exception. He speculates about cataclysmic events, possibly a comet impact around 10,500 BC, leading to the civilization's demise. This catastrophe, he believes, scattered the survivors across the globe, who then imparted their advanced knowledge to the emerging civilizations they encountered. Now, what if we combine two different thoughts here? What if the ancient civilization many mention that came from the stars were the ancient Anunnaki? Zecharia Sitchin's theories about the Anunnaki and their connection to Earth have stirred up quite a conversation in both scientific and alternative history circles. According to Sitchin, the Anunnaki weren't just deities of ancient Mesopotamian lore, but extraterrestrials from a distant planet named Nibiru. This planet, he claims, orbits our sun every 3,600 years, coming close enough to Earth to have influenced our history in profound ways. It's a story that seems straight out of a science fiction novel, but Sitchin grounded his ideas in his translations of ancient Sumerian and Mesopotamian cuneiform texts, which he interpreted as historical records rather than mythological tales. Sitchin's narrative delves into the reasons behind the Anunnaki's visits to Earth. He proposed that these extraterrestrial beings were in search of resources, particularly gold, which they needed to repair their home planet's atmosphere. But their influence on Earth, according to Sitchin, went far beyond a mere interstellar gold rush. He believed that the Anunnaki utilized their advanced technology and knowledge to help build many of the ancient world's incredible structures, like the Egyptian pyramids and the ziggurats of Mesopotamia. Perhaps one of the most controversial aspects of his theory is the idea that the Anunnaki engaged in genetic engineering. Sitchin speculated that the first humans were a product of the Anunnaki, combining their DNA with that of early hominids on Earth. This, he argued, significantly accelerated human development and influenced the trajectory of our civilizations. The reach and implications of Sitchin's theories are vast. He suggested that the Anunnaki didn't just leave behind architectural wonders, but also imparted knowledge and skills that spurred the growth of ancient societies. It's a theory that paints the story of human civilization in a completely different light, suggesting that our advancements might have had a little extraterrestrial push.
And suddenly we see these signs of civilization appearing, and in places like Göbekli Tepe, those signs already include highly sophisticated knowledge.
The theory that interlinks the Anunnaki, a group of ancient deities from Mesopotamian mythology, with the construction of Earth's megalithic structures, is a narrative rich in speculation and wonder. Advocates of this theory believe the Anunnaki were not mere mythological figures, but advanced extraterrestrial beings. Their alleged arrival on Earth and involvement in monumental constructions have fascinated many who seek explanations beyond conventional history. Proponents suggest that the Anunnaki possessed far superior technological and engineering capabilities compared to the humans of their time. This advanced knowledge, they argue, was instrumental in the construction of various awe-inspiring ancient structures, such as the pyramids of Egypt, the mysterious Stonehenge, the colossal Moai statues of Easter Island, and the towering pyramids of Mesoamerica. The intricate designs, the massive stones used, and the precision of these constructions are often cited as beyond the capabilities of ancient civilizations without external assistance. One striking feature of these ancient structures is their astronomical alignment. For instance, Stonehenge's layout closely aligns with the movements of the sun during solstices and equinoxes. Similarly, many ancient structures across the globe share architectural features despite their geographical distances, hinting, as some believe, at a common source of knowledge or influence. The theory also delves into the timing of the Anunnaki's arrival on Earth. It is often suggested that their arrival coincided with or followed significant cataclysmic events, like great floods or environmental disasters. This timing is seen as strategic, either for the purpose of assisting in Earth's restoration or exploiting its resources in a period of human vulnerability. This aspect of the theory finds resonance in various ancient mythologies, which are replete with tales of gods or celestial beings descending to Earth in times of great need. Some theorists go as far as to interpret these mythological accounts not as allegorical or symbolic stories, but as historical records of actual events, including the arrival and actions of the Anunnaki. In particular, flood myths prevalent in various cultures, such as the biblical story of Noah and the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh, are sometimes pointed to as supporting evidence for a global cataclysm that coincided with the Anunnaki's arrival. These narratives, they argue, are not just mythical tales, but potentially documentations of real events that were witnessed and recorded by ancient civilizations. While this theory garners interest and has a certain appeal to those fascinated by ancient mysteries and the possibility of extraterrestrial influence, it remains outside the realm of mainstream historical and archaeological discourse. The lack of empirical evidence and the speculative nature of the interpretations involved place this theory in the category of alternative history rather than established fact. Nonetheless, it continues to be a topic of intrigue and discussion among enthusiasts of ancient astronaut theories and alternative historical narratives.
Nestled at the westernmost edge of the Saurashtra Peninsula in what is now the state of Gujarat, India, the ancient city of Dwarka offers a narrative that is as rich in spirituality and mythology as it is in historical urban development.
The calculation is that 27 million square kilometers that was above water during the Ice Age is underwater now.
The city's strategic positioning near the confluence of the Gomati River and the Arabian Sea played a pivotal role not just in safeguarding it from potential invaders, but also in bolstering maritime trade and fostering connections with other parts of the ancient world. This geographical advantage, coupled with the city being enveloped by water on all sides, either as a peninsula or a series of islands, crafted a natural fortress that was a challenge for any adversary to overcome.
Most of human civilization has been organized around water, right? And as the water levels change, some of those ancient cities could be completely covered.
We did a lot of diving in southern India, so it was great for her to be able to talk in their own language to Tamil fishermen and Tamil divers and see if they'd seen any weird stuff underwater, which they certainly had.
Moreover, the Gomati River's proximity not only enhanced the city's scenic beauty, but also served as a crucial lifeline for its residents. Dwarka's urban landscape, as depicted in ancient texts, was nothing short of architectural grandeur. The city boasted of meticulously planned streets, a state-of-the-art drainage system, and formidable fortifications, all of which were divided into well-defined sectors for residential, commercial, and administrative purposes.
We know that it's been underwater for about 6,000 or 7,000 years, but the question is, how long before that was it made? How long did it stand there above water?
This level of urban planning and civil engineering sophistication showcases an advanced understanding of city management and infrastructure development, making Dwarka a marvel in ancient urban planning. The city's defensive structures, including a series of gates and fortifications, underscored the thoughtful defensive strategy employed in its construction. These were not merely architectural feats, but were strategically designed to regulate access and provide unwavering protection against invasions. Such architectural and strategic prowess points to a high degree of sophistication and indicates that Dwarka was a city that blended beauty with brains, making it a formidable entity in the ancient world.
You're coming across statues underwater, you're coming across columns underwater. It's just magical in diving on an underwater city.
Diving into the depths off the coast of modern-day Dwarka in Gujarat, India, archaeologists have embarked on marine explorations that have significantly advanced our understanding of the ancient city's grandeur and the sophisticated civilization that once flourished there. These underwater explorations have brought to light submerged structures, stone foundations, walls, pillars, and steps that many believe were part of the legendary Dwarka, a city of immense importance in Hindu scriptures. The discovery of such elaborate underwater architecture points towards the advanced engineering and construction techniques of the time, hinting at a society that was far ahead of its contemporaries in terms of urban planning and infrastructure development. The use of modern technology, including sonar scanning, diving explorations, and underwater photography, has been instrumental in mapping out the submerged city, providing us with a clearer picture of its complexity and the scale at which it operated. But the revelations don't stop at structures. A plethora of artifacts unearthed both from the seabed and land excavations near Dwarka tell tales of a culturally rich and economically prosperous society. The remnants of well-laid streets and an elaborate drainage system underscore a high degree of urban planning, indicative of a society that valued organization, environmental health, and the well-being of its citizens. Moreover, the variety of materials discovered suggests Dwarka was a bustling hub of trade and cultural exchange, maintaining connections with other civilizations of its time. This diversity not only showcases the city's economic vitality, but also its cultural openness and dynamism. But perhaps what's most fascinating is the chronological evidence unearthed through radiocarbon dating.
We have to accept that civilization in India is at least 5,000 years old. The largely and correctly discredited notion of an Aryan invasion of India needs to be abandoned.
Some artifacts and structural components of the submerged city have been dated back to the 2nd millennium BCE, aligning Dwarka's timeline with that of Lord Krishna, as described in traditional beliefs and ancient texts. This dating not only cements Dwarka's place as a significant cultural, religious, and economic center in the ancient world, but also bridges the gap between mythological narratives and historical reality. These archaeological findings offer a tangible framework to understand the evolution of urban settlements in ancient India, shedding light on societal structures, trade practices, and the cultural dynamics of the time. As we piece together clues from the past, Dwarka holds a special place in the tapestry of Hindu mythology and Indian ancient history, not just for its divine origins, but also for the mystery and majesty that encompass its story. At the heart of Dwarka's legend is its foundation by Lord Krishna, a pivotal figure in Hinduism revered across various traditions. The epic tales from the Mahabharata and the Bhagavata Purana tell us of Krishna's quest to protect his people from persistent threats, leading to the establishment of this city. It wasn't just a random choice. Krishna was strategic, opting for a location that offered natural defenses and prosperous living conditions for his subjects. Positioned on the western coast, Dwarka was a fortress against adversaries, thanks to its geographical advantages and access to vital sea routes that facilitated trade and communication. This city wasn't just a safe haven, it was a symbol of divine protection and ingenuity, blending spiritual significance with architectural splendor. The story of Dwarka, with its grand buildings and eventual mysterious submergence, captures the imagination, making it a subject of fascination and reverence. Dwarka, often hailed as the City of Gold in ancient scriptures, embodies not just the literal application of gold in its architecture, but also represents an era of unparalleled wealth, prosperity, and architectural ingenuity. This legendary city, with its palaces shimmering with gold and precious stones, grand public spaces, and formidable fortifications, stands as a testament to the zenith of ancient urban development and prosperity. The city's opulence wasn't confined to its material wealth. It extended to its sophisticated design and layout, which were attributed to Vishwakarma, the divine architect in Hindu mythology. Commissioned by Lord Krishna, Vishwakarma's vision for Dwarka was nothing short of architectural brilliance. The planning of Dwarka was meticulously executed, with distinct zones for residential quarters, marketplaces, temples, and public buildings. This segregation ensured that the city functioned efficiently, with each area serving its purpose without encroaching on another. The residential quarters, designed for comfort and accessibility, were likely constructed with not just security in mind, but also aesthetics, ensuring that the city's inhabitants lived in an environment that was safe, beautiful, and harmonious with nature. But perhaps the most captivating tale of Dwarka is its mysterious submergence.
The submergence of those sites is largely because of subsidence of land rather than sea level rise, because it's relatively recent.
Legend has it that following Lord Krishna's departure from this world, the city met its end, swallowed by the sea. This story isn't just a pivotal chapter in Hindu mythology, marking the end of an era and the onset of Kali Yuga. It has also piqued the interest of archaeologists and historians. Their underwater explorations near the modern city of Dwarka have unearthed submerged structures, offering a tangible link to the city's legendary past. These discoveries hint at the existence of a significant settlement that might have gradually succumbed to rising sea levels or other catastrophic events, giving some historical backbone to the mythological tales. The submergence of Dwarka is often seen through a symbolic lens, reflecting on the ephemeral nature of wealth and the inevitability of change. It reminds us that even the most splendid creations, no matter how grand or well-built, are not immune to the forces of time and nature. This story, rich with historical intrigue and mythological depth, continues to enchant and provoke thought, bridging the ancient with the present and the mythical with the real. You know, the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in the Valley of the Kings near Luxor, Egypt, is something straight out of an Indiana Jones movie. It's incredible. This valley, right on the west bank of the Nile opposite Luxor, which was ancient Thebes back in the day, was like the Beverly Hills of burial sites for Egypt's pharaohs during the New Kingdom period, from the 16th to the 11th centuries BCE. They chose it for its secluded, almost hidden location. It's like they wanted to keep it a secret from tomb raiders. By the time they buried Tutankhamun there, around 1323 BCE, it was already pretty crowded with royal tombs. Enter Howard Carter, this British archaeologist, who had this gut feeling that the valley still had secrets to reveal, despite what other experts thought. He was like a detective on a mission, funded by Lord Carnarvon, an English earl with deep pockets and a taste for adventure. And then, boom, on November 4th, 1922, Carter's team hit the jackpot. They found steps leading to Tutankhamun's tomb, KV-62. This was a game changer, and the result of Carter's unyielding determination. The excavation was like a scene from a thriller. They first cleared a staircase and then found this sealed entrance with the Royal Necropolis seal. It was like a sign saying, "Yes, there's something amazing here." Carter was super meticulous, recording every single detail and snapping pictures like there was no tomorrow. When they got through the entrance, they found themselves in this antechamber that was like a treasure-filled room of wonders with chariots, beds, chairs, and all sorts of ritual objects. It was all a bit chaotic, which made them think that some ancient robbers had a go at it not once, but twice. But wait, there's more. Next to this antechamber was this smaller room called the Annex, stuffed to the brim with all sorts of goods. Then the main event, the burial chamber. This was where the sarcophagus and Tutankhamun's mummy were. Talk about an awe-inspiring sight. And as if that wasn't enough, there was another room, the treasury, filled with precious objects meant for the afterlife. The array of artifacts they found there gave us this incredible glimpse into what life was like during the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt. The tomb was smaller and less showy than others in the valley, but what made it stand out was how untouched it was, aside from the earlier robberies. This discovery was a gold mine for Egyptologists. It was like they hit the jackpot in understanding the burial customs, art, and day-to-day items from that era. The whole thing, I tell you, it was just out of this world. Now, the real showstoppers in there were Tutankhamun's solid gold coffin and that iconic gold funerary mask. You know the one, right? It's practically the face of ancient Egypt, decked out with lapis lazuli, quartz, and other colorful stones. Pure artistry. And let's not forget about the 6 chariots and those fancy thrones. They were like the Bentleys and thrones of their time, showing off the incredible craftsmanship and tech skills of the ancient Egyptians. But wait, there's more. The bling in that tomb would make any jewelry enthusiast green with envy. We're talking necklaces, bracelets, rings, amulets, all made from gold and precious stones. And then there were toys and games like the Senate board game, which give us a glimpse into the fun side of royal life back then. What's really mind-blowing is how intact everything was. Sure, some ancient tomb raiders tried to crash the party, but they didn't get far, and most of the treasure was left just as it was. The dry Egyptian climate and the sealed tomb did a fantastic job preserving everything, including organic stuff like wood, textiles, and leather. Now, the big guy himself, Tutankhamun, was resting in 3 coffins, nested like Russian dolls. The innermost one, solid gold. Talk about resting in style. His mummy was in pretty good shape too, which was great for the scientists. They went full CSI with CT scans and DNA testing on him. These scans showed us what he looked like and gave us the lowdown on his health. Plus, the DNA tests confirmed his royal lineage and even gave us hints about what might have caused his untimely death. Everything from genetic diseases to malaria has been on the table. So when you look at everything in that tomb, it's like a window straight into the world of ancient Egypt. It's a treasure trove of information about how they lived, what they valued, and even how they viewed the afterlife. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb isn't just a chapter in a history book. It's a cornerstone in our understanding of one of the most fascinating civilizations in history. Let's dive into this whole pharaoh's curse thing with Tutankhamun's tomb. It's like something out of a Hollywood script, but it's been part of the Tutankhamun story since 1922. This curse tale has become just as famous as the actual archaeological facts. So, what kicked off this legend? Well, it started with some pretty eerie coincidences. The big one was the death of Lord Carnarvon, the guy who funded the whole excavation. He died from a mosquito bite that got infected, and it happened just a few months after they opened the tomb. People started whispering, "Hey, isn't that a bit too coincidental?" The newspapers of the time went wild with this. They were all about spinning tales of an ancient curse smiting those who dared disturb the pharaoh's rest. They even cooked up this story about a curse inscribed at the tomb's entrance, warning of doom for anyone who entered. But here's the kicker. No such inscription was ever found. Classic case of the press letting their imagination run wild, right? This idea of a mysterious curse really grabbed the public's attention. It was the perfect mix of ancient Egypt's allure and the supernatural. But let's get real for a second. Scientists have looked into these supposed curse-related deaths and come up with more down-to-earth explanations. Things like exposure to molds or bacteria that had been chilling in the tomb for ages. And when you look at the stats, most folks involved with the tomb lived pretty normal lifespans for that time. So maybe this curse is more myth than reality. But let's not overlook the psychological angle. If you believe you're cursed, it might mess with your head and health, right? Now, despite all the spooky curse talk, the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb is a massive deal in Egyptology. It's given us an unmatched look into the burial practices and life of the ancient Egyptian pharaohs. The cultural impact of this curse legend is huge. It's influenced art, literature, even movies, fueling this whole Egyptomania thing. The story often overshadows the real historical and archaeological significance of Tutankhamun's find. And let's not forget the artifacts from the tomb. They've been toured all over the world, drawing crowds by the millions. The tomb itself, out there in the Valley of the Kings, has become a major tourist spot, partly because of the enduring fascination with this supposed curse. So there you have it, the tale of the pharaoh's curse, part myth, part media frenzy, and a whole lot of cultural fascination. So let's talk about the Sumerian king list. It's like a hit list of ancient rulers, but with a twist. This thing is not just a boring roll call of names, it's a fascinating mix of myth and recorded history. giving us a peek into how the ancient Sumerians saw their past. Imagine finding not one but several versions of this list, all buried in the sands of time in different cities of Mesopotamia, like Nippur, Lhasa and Ur. Each copy is a bit different, showing that the Sumerians kept updating their history, kind of like how we update software today. The oldest of these lists go back to the early 2nd millennium BCE. That's really old, but the traditions they talk about are probably even older. Now, these lists were written in Sumerian, an ancient language that was to the Sumerians what Latin was to medieval Europe, and they wrote it in cuneiform, a script made up of wedge-shaped marks on clay tablets. Think of cuneiform as the Sumerians' version of a keyboard, but way more artistic. Let's dive into the content. The king list starts off with these legendary, almost superhero-like kings from way back, even before the Big Flood. We're talking about kings like Alulim and Alalngar from Eridu, which was like the New York City of ancient Mesopotamia. These guys supposedly ruled for thousands of years. I mean, talk about long-term reign. But then as you move down the list, things get more real. It shifts to kings who are more historical, with more reasonable reign lengths. We even have big names like Gilgamesh of Uruk. Yeah, the guy from the Epic of Gilgamesh. He's part history, part legend. This list is not your average historical record. It's a mix of myth and reality, and let me tell you, it makes for a fascinating read. The early parts of this list are like something out of a fantasy novel, with kings who reigned for thousands of years. Can you imagine? We're talking about reigns longer than entire civilizations. But here's the thing. As you go further down the list, it starts sounding more like a history book. You've got kings whose names pop up in the archaeological records, and their reigns are a lot shorter, more believable. It's like the Sumerians were trying to tell us that their history is a blend of legend and fact, which is pretty mind-blowing if you think about it. They saw time as this continuous thread weaving together the mythical and the historical. Now, for historians and archaeologists, this list is both a goldmine and a puzzle. The mix of myth and history makes it tricky to use as a straight-up historical record. I mean, how do you separate fact from fiction when your source material reads like a blend of both? It's like trying to piece together a jigsaw puzzle without the picture on the box. And about those super long reigns, most scholars think they're symbolic, not literal. Maybe these impossibly long reigns were a way for the Sumerians to say, hey, these kings were really powerful, almost like gods. It's their way of showing respect and awe for these ancient rulers. But here's where it gets even more complicated. The king list doesn't always match up with other historical records. There are differences in the names, the order of the kings, and how long they ruled. It's like every version of the list is telling a slightly different story, which makes putting together a clear timeline of Sumerian history a real challenge. Despite all this, the king list is a treasure trove of information. It gives us a peek into how the Sumerians viewed their own history, their kings, and even their place in the universe. It's not just a list of names and dates, it's a story about power, religion, and society in one of the world's oldest civilizations. This list is a crucial piece in the puzzle of Mesopotamian history. It's like a guidebook to understanding the political, cultural, and religious fabric of early societies in Mesopotamia. So while it might be a bit of a headache for historians to figure out, the Sumerian king list is an invaluable key to unlocking the secrets of the ancient world.
I am on a journey back through time. Architecture, medicine, and writing, the benchmarks of civilization. Many theories have been put forward to try and explain the riddle. None of this happened overnight, so where did all this knowledge come from?
You know, when we talk about the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb, it's like we're diving into one of the most thrilling chapters of Egypt's past. Picture this. It's 1922 and Howard Carter, this British archaeologist bankrolled by Lord Carnarvon, hits the jackpot in the Valley of the Kings. He finds KV 62, Tutankhamun's tomb, and it's almost like they just left the place. Unlike most royal tombs, which were pretty much empty shelves thanks to centuries of looting, this one was jam-packed. We're talking a gold treasure trove giving us a front-row seat to the new kingdom's burial fanfare. The stuff Carter unearthed is mind-blowing. Over 5,000 items. Imagine walking into a room filled with golden chariots, thrones, weapons, and then, bam! You see this golden sarcophagus with the most iconic gold mask ever. That mask, man, it's not just some fancy accessory, it's like looking at the sun, a symbol of the pharaoh's power and divine status. And the tomb wasn't just about bling, It had loads of everyday stuff too, like wood and textiles, giving us a real taste of life during Tutankhamun's time. Now let's zoom in on some of the most mind-blowing stuff in there. First up, there's this solid gold coffin right where King Tut's mummy was chilling. It's not just any old gold box. This thing's decked out with the works that think intricate designs, a traditional headdress, a ceremonial beard, and get this, it's studded with lapis lazuli. That's like the VIP pass in the ancient gem world. It's not just for show though. These symbols and deities on the coffin are a direct hotline to the Egyptian afterlife beliefs. Then there's the showstopper, the gold mask. This isn't just a mask, it's a statement. Crafted from gold and inlaid with colored glass and precious stones, it's the face of ancient Egypt, literally. It's got this serene look, capturing the essence of what it meant to be a pharaoh. Don't even get me started on the thrones. There's this one throne, a gilded wooden number featuring Tutankhamun and his queen, Ankhesenamun. It's like an ancient love seat, but royal style, with detailed carvings and inlays. It's a sneak peek into the royal love life back then. Now, for the warrior in Tut, there are these archery bows and trumpets. They're not just well-preserved antiques, they're symbols of his role as a hunter and warrior. Think about the craftsmanship that went into making these. It's like ancient Egypt's version of high-tech gear. And then there's this lotus chalice made of alabaster. The lotus in their culture was a big deal. It meant creation, rebirth. So this wasn't just a fancy cup, it was a symbol of life's cycle. Of course, there's more chariots, shields, a royal seal, even clothes and jewelry. Each piece is a puzzle piece in understanding what it was like to be King Tut. And the jewelry, oh man, it's not just bling. It's full of religious and protective mojo. So, what's all this worth? Sure, there's a price tag. The gold mask alone is worth over $2 million. But honestly, can you really put a price on a time capsule like this? It's like holding a piece of history in your hands. This tomb, it's more than a burial site. It's a gateway to understanding a civilization that's been intriguing us for millennia. Now here's the kicker. This find didn't just fill up a museum. It reignited our love affair with ancient Egypt. People went nuts over everything Egyptian, a phenomenon we call Egyptomania. And let's give Carter some credit. The guy was a trailblazer in how to do archaeology, right? Detailed, careful, making sure nothing got lost in the shuffle. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Keeping these treasures safe and sound has been a bit of a headache. They're old, delicate, and need a lot of TLC. Luckily, you can still see many of these jaw-dropping pieces, including the star of the show, the gold mask at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. It's like a magnet pulling in folks from all over the globe, all eager to peek into a world that's been gone for millennia. Picture this. It's 2009 and Terry Herbert, just your average guy with a metal detector, is roaming around a field in Staffordshire, England. He's got his detector humming and beeping, and then bam, he hits the jackpot. He starts finding bits of gold. Not just any gold, mind you, but pieces that scream history. He knows he's onto something big, so he calls up Duncan Slark from the Portable Antiquities Scheme. And just like that, we're on the verge of one of the most jaw-dropping discoveries in recent times, the Staffordshire Horde. So the experts jump in and they start this mega excavation. They're digging, sifting, and recording everything super carefully. Imagine them mapping out every inch of the field, treating each piece they find like a piece of a giant, precious puzzle. And the picture they're putting together is nothing short of extraordinary. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. They find over 3,500 items. That's right, 3,500 pieces of Anglo-Saxon gold and silver. It's like they've stumbled into an ancient warrior's dream stash. The stuff they're pulling out of the ground isn't your average old metalwork. We're talking sword pommels, bits of helmets, all kinds of war gear with some serious craftsmanship. This hoard isn't just a random collection of shiny things. It's telling us a story, and it sounds a lot like it's straight out of a legend or an epic poem. These pieces might have been trophies from battles, maybe payments to mercenary warriors, or even offerings to some long-forgotten deity. And the fact that they're all broken and torn apart, that just adds to the mystery. It's like they were ripped off weapons and armor as souvenirs from some ancient battlefield. This hoard, dug up in 2009, is not just any old stash of metal. It's predominantly gold and silver, shining a light on the kind of wealth and status these guys were rolling in. But wait, there's more. They also threw in some garnet, glass, and other fancy materials for their inlays, adding some serious bling to the mix. Now the sword pommels in this hoard, there's something else. There's a whole bunch of them, and each one is like a unique piece of art. These weren't just lumps of metal on the end of a sword. They were intricately designed, with animal patterns weaving in and out, and even some Christian symbols popping up here and there. It's like a mashup of old-world paganism and the new Christian vibes sweeping through at the time. And the way they're made, with garnet and glass intricately fitted together, it's a testament to how skilled these Anglo-Saxon metalworkers were. But hold on, the cool stuff doesn't stop there. The Horde's got fragments of helmets, think cheek guards, crests, decorative plates, and these pieces are as fancy as they come. They remind me of the Sutton Hoo helmet, another epic Anglo-Saxon find. It's like each piece is telling a story of battles and kings. And then there are the crosses. These aren't just religious symbols, they're a clue to how Christianity was weaving its way into Anglo-Saxon England. These crosses were probably used for private devotion. Imagine holding one of these gold and gem-encrusted crosses in your hands, thinking about the big guy upstairs. But wait, there's even more. The Horde's got all sorts of odds and ends. Gold strips that might have come from sword hilts, jewelry, bits and pieces that would have been strapped onto armor. Some of these items have inscriptions in Latin or runic script, which is like having a direct line to the thoughts and languages of the time. It's 1947, and a Bedouin shepherd is just minding his own business in the Qumran caves near the Dead Sea. He stumbles upon these old scrolls, and little does he know, he's just hit the archaeological jackpot. These aren't just any scrolls, they're the Dead Sea Scrolls, a treasure trove of ancient wisdom. This accidental find leads to more digging, and before you know it, from 1947 to 1956, they've uncovered hundreds of manuscripts and thousands of fragments in 11 different caves. It's like they've uncovered a hidden library from the distant past. Now let's talk about what's actually on these scrolls. They're mostly written on parchment, some on papyrus, and there's even one on copper. That's some serious variety in ancient writing materials. The texts are primarily in Hebrew, with bits in Aramaic and a dash of Greek. What's really cool is they include fragments of nearly every book of the Hebrew Bible, except Esther, along with some apocryphal stuff and writings about a Jewish sect from the Second Temple period. It's like we've found a time capsule from an era that's crucial to understanding the roots of both Judaism and Christianity. The real kicker here is that these scrolls are the oldest copies of the Hebrew Bible we've ever found, dating from way back in the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD. They offer a glimpse into the diversity of religious thought during the Second Temple period, like getting a backstage pass to early religious practices and beliefs. For scholars, these scrolls are pure gold. They've been instrumental in studying how the Hebrew Bible was put together and understanding the early history of Judaism. But it's not just about what's written on them. Their age and rarity have made them super valuable, with individual scrolls valued at up to $20 million. That's a lot of zeros for some ancient parchment. Preserving these scrolls has been a massive effort. They're incredibly fragile, so there's been a big push to digitize them for both preservation and study. You can even see many of them on display at the Shrine of the Book in Jerusalem, bringing this ancient world to the public. The Dead Sea Scrolls are more than just ancient texts. They're a bridge between the past and present,